Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
How are we all doing?
Good. Is it the first time we've been
were we not all together last
weeks?
time? I don't think we were.
You were on holiday, weren't you?
I was on holiday for the last episode.
And then the episode before I had
The one
COVID.
before that.
Yeah,
we did it
recorded-
early.
Yeah.
But then on the day we were going to do it, you didn't come
I
in.
tested positive for COVID.
Good thing
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have been able
How
to
was
do it
your
on Thursday anyway.
holiday?
It was really good, thank you. I had a lovely time. I met a lot of cats.
Excellent.
That was fun. Took a lot of photos with cats. I drank a lot of cocktails.
Good.
A litre of vodka is about £8. So went through 2 of those in a week. Had a great time. They do. I went to Croatia, just for context. They do what I dubbed Blue Fanta in Croatia.
Oh, Europeans love blue Fanta.
It comes in a blue bottle,
Right.
and it's like the lemon Fanta, but it's got some additional flavorings that I
Yeah.
can't remember what it is. It's so delicious.
Blue Fanta's really
Don't
good.
think
Really good. So I basically just subsisted off vodka and Blue Fanta.
Did you buy any Blue Fanta to bring home?
I
Yeah.
couldn't because I had
had
only had
hand
hand
luggage. Oh, only had
luggage.
carry on.
And
Is there any in the
I would have
airport?
blown up a plane with it, wouldn't
Yeah.
I?
Yeah.
So no, but I did buy a lot of vodka at the airport as well. I really like Absolute Vanilla vodka,
You
right? That's
do.
my favorite one. And I discovered that they sold 1 litre bottles of it, which was very
Duty
Duty
free.
free.
duty free. So I bought one there. And I also bought the cheapest 1 litre bottle of vodka that I could find, which was about £10. So I deliberately rolled up all my luggage, all my clothes really small in my bag so that I had space for as much alcohol as I could fit
But
in
you
it.
can bring a duty-free bag with you.
Yeah.
on
I
the
realized
plane.
that when I saw other people doing it after the fact.
Ah.
But I bought what I wanted and I managed to stuff it in my bag. So success.
And you saw lots of cats.
I saw lots of cats.
See any crows?
No crows.
That's where they're from, isn't it?
Croatia.
Croatia.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's how it's
exactly.
spelled, yeah.
Yes, I saw no crows, weirdly, but I did eat an awful lot of non-Croatian food, like pizza and burgers and ice cream, and it was great. And I had a wonderful time. Got very sunburned and couldn't sleep well at all the entire time I was there. So it was great. I think I did it properly.
Yeah, I
a
think
true
so.
Brit
Aboard.
Brit aboard. How about you, Ashton? You're over your COVID now, right?
Yeah, how was your holiday?
Yeah, well, my holiday was not really a holiday. It was just me sweating for 5 days in my house. But I suppose, you probably sweated as well.
I sweated so much.
We probably were sweating an equal amount, to
Probably,
be fair.
yeah.
Eating similar kinds of food, maybe?
Yeah, probably. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't eat much
Big
food. but
burgers and stuff.
I've still got a cough. That's still hanging around, which is nice.
Fraser's now got COVID this
Fraser's
week
now
as
got
well.
COVID. As of this afternoon, we're putting Peter in a metaphorical
Yeah, we're sending
plastic
Peter
bubble,
to
and
COVID
he's
prison.
not coming back to work until he's married. That's the
Yeah.
rules.
I still haven't, touch wood, caught COVID, or if I have, maybe I've had it at some point in the past 2.5 years and just not known. Maybe I've been asymptomatic, but as far as I'm aware, never had COVID. Everyone has it or is getting it.
Well, infection rates are higher than they were 2020.
Both in and out of the office, and I get public transport into work as well. I get the metro. So I'm just thinking, like, if I get it within the next 2 to 5 days, I might have it during my wedding, and I will not be able to go to my wedding.
Yeah.
So
Amy
Amy
will
will
have
just
to
be
get
there on
married
her own. Yeah.
have to get married without you.
So I'm not coming into work anymore. Working from home.
Yeah.
So.
He's going to
We're
go stay in a
protecting.
bubble. So
I'll still
he-
be streaming and
he
stuff.
Will be
Yeah.
streaming. He'll be on the joint streams. He won't be on next
be on
week's
the
joint stream, but he will be on next week's
podcast.
podcast, just on a little monitor. We'll
Yeah.
have Peter monitor down here.
Yeah.
So Peter will be involved.
My
But
blurry cam will be back.
Yes, it will.
Tiny
be.
cam.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
very yellow camera. In the jaundice cam.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. But this is our video game podcast where each and every week we talk about video game things. And we're also brought to you by a very real video game adjacent sponsor that helps us keep these lights on. Not that one, which turns on when we turn on the main room light, but then after about 10 seconds it turns off.
Yeah.
Fun thing happened yesterday when we were in here. Ben turned off. So we've got some standing lights here, like studio lights. Ben turned them off. I turned them off at the wall. And then Ben, like, absent-mindedly pressed the switch on the back of it after they'd gone off, and it turned on, even though it was turned off at the wall. Very briefly, it's flashed on and then
Ghost
went off again.
electricity.
Wow.
So it just still had a bit of power in there somehow.
Happened to me with a PlayStation once, a PS3. I unplugged it, but it still obviously had some residual power, and I pressed the eject button. It went beep, 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 as if to say, "There's no disc in here." Oh no, I'm dead, aren't
Spooky.
I? It forgot that it was dead. Ashton, I
Yeah.
think you've got the ad read, haven't you?
I do, yeah. My ad read comes from, I got an email, so it's definitely really real, to my personal email account
Okay.
from an African prince that I'm related to,
Okay.
who wanted me to help him out because he's my great great uncle
my
or
great
something.
friend.
My great friend. Wanted me to help him out because he keeps twitching all the time. He doesn't know what it is and he needs help.
Okay.
So
Right.
he says, if you subscribe to my channel,
Yeah.
I'll get better eventually.
Right.
And I realized, I Googled it, and there's a really trending hashtag at the moment because it's a TwitchCon.
A Twitch con.
Yeah.
Because it's an African prince who's twitching.
Mhm.
He's
So it's a con.
conning me.
Right.
It's a con.
Yeah,
there.
it's really big at the moment. Loads of streamers are tweeting about it.
Loads of them have had the same email
Yeah.
from.
Really? The epicenter is it Amsterdam?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've heard
right.
that.
I've heard a lot about Amsterdam in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
God,
it's
Can't believe you nearly
TwitchCon.
fell for a TwitchCon.
Yeah.
What was he trying to? What was he saying? Do you have to send him money for?
He said, I need you to subscribe to my channel,
Right.
but you can't do it via any. You have to send it directly to me. You have to send
Right.
that $4.99.
Right.
directly
iTunes
to
gift
me.
cards or no?
He actually wanted Amazon Prime gift cards, of course. He said you have to send it directly to me, and I will subscribe for you to my channel. And
Did he
then
start the
The
email?
more I grow, the more eventually they'll give me money back.
Right.
Because he.
Oh, that's good.
That makes
Yeah.
that tracks with me.
Profit.
Yeah.
Did he start the email with "Hello, dear"? That's
said-
what some of mine start
Yeah.
with, which is always nice.
Hello, dearest friend.
Yeah.
It's me, your great uncle, Prince of Africa.
The Prince of
The
Africa.
Prince
Of
of
the
Africa.
whole of Africa.
Yeah.
Yes, the
The
continent.
nation
But
of
I actually
Africa.
turns out I'm not related to him because he's not real.
Oh,
Oh.
what?
And neither's a sponsor.
Oh,
So
thank
what's
God.
TwitchCon?
Don't know. Everyone's still
It's a mystery
tweeting
thing.
about
We're
it.
not
Don't
bloody
know.
going.
We're not
That's for sure.
No.
We're not important enough.
No.
Twitch. What is it?
What is it? Does it exist? Will it happen? Who knows? No, we're not sponsored by the African Prince's TwitchCon. We are, of course, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump, where for as little as $1 per month, you can submit questions to this podcast and maybe get them read out. You know, if they're good.
Whoa.
Sometimes, though, we have an abundance of really good ones, so don't take it personally.
No.
And
Yeah.
do ask again the following week. You also get loads of other stuff on our Patreon, including the Patreon exclusive After Dark podcast, which we're going to record directly after this one, and an episode of After Dark dropped on Monday for patrons of a certain tier. It's
Yeah.
where we can swear and talk about all sorts of stuff not related to games. It's pretty good. Anyway, it's there if you want it. Maybe check it out, patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, please.
We've got some questions.
We have. We've got a question here from Nicholas Otter. I believe the E is pronounced in German.
Otter.
Nicholas Otter.
Okay.
He's a small aquatic mammal, and he says, "Hello, BAP and B and A and P. Ever since last year, I'm on a quest to brush up my gamer knowledge trademark by playing through the whole catalogue of the NES and SNES, or SNES if you want to get SNES about this, for 10 minutes max. I'm not that crazy. I just want to get a general idea of games. If someone forced you to play through a console's catalogue from A to Z, which one would you choose? Would you spend a lot of time playing through the PS1 catalogue, but you can get to play games from your childhood? Or would you speed run through the Virtual Boy and get it over with? Keys from the Winkler's homeland, Lord Brotovich. Booth does this. She does Amiga Alphabet on stream. I think she might even be... I don't know if she's done, but she was really getting through it last time I saw. And yeah, Lord Brotovich is doing it as well. So I maybe have two answers. Maybe the easiest option is to just speed run through it with the Virtual Boy or something like that.
Yeah.
You know. But I would either play the N64, which is a console I've been meaning to buy for a long time. And when I move house, I think I will buy a physical one and set it up in my man cave or woman cave.
Or woman
cave.
cave, yeah.
And I believe the N64 has a relatively small library, actually. I don't have the figures in front of me, but I think it's surprising.
At least 6.
Yeah, at least 6.
At least.
But I think it's surprisingly small compared to other consoles of the time. Or I have always sort of wanted to try every single PS1 game. but there are hundreds and hundreds of them. There are about 10 or more mahjong games, that Japanese game. There are loads of Gundam and mech games that I'm not interested in. A lot of weird dating sim, JRPG things that haven't been translated into English. But I guess after 10 minutes, I would just turn those off. But there are a lot of games that I would like to try. But I think in reality, there are too many, and I probably wouldn't do that. So probably N64 for me, please.
I thought there's lots of games that I never got to play as a Wiian for like the PlayStation 2. So I'd probably go for the PlayStation 2.
I think that might be the biggest library in all of gaming.
Wrong, there's definitely a lot of trash, but I wouldn't like you said, you have to play all of them. I don't have to play all of them for all of the whole game. I could just play 10 minutes.
A day, then you'd be playing it for only like 4 years.
But it's only 10 minutes, so I could do 6 in an hour. Power through, 1 hour a night. 6 in an hour. Eventually, when I'm 45 years old, I'd have done them all.
Yeah.
When we're on the
Unless I never have to play them
PlayStation
again.
9.
Yeah.
Right? You looking at my shirt?
So I was looking at your shirt.
You're admiring my piss.
I was looking at it. I looked at it and I realised that it hadn't gone in what it was, so I had to look on the screen to see what it says.
Well, this is a botch run, and most people will probably own this because there's a little bit of white look in the crook of her arm that wasn't cut out, and it took me ages to realise. And I think Adam did update the art, but we don't sell this shirt anymore. So
I didn't know about the botch run. That's a limited edition.
It took me ages to. One day I just saw it when I was putting it on and thought, oh no, oh dear. Sorry, Ashton.
That's okay.
When you're 45 years old, I'll have finished
all the PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
There's just so many games that I know I should have played, and if it was like someone was like, you must play all of them. If you don't play them all,
you can't have your dessert. You'll die.
I was like, well, okay, in this situation, if I have to play through a series of games, I probably would play the one that I'd like missed out on the most, which is probably the PlayStation 2. Like I said, the PlayStation 1 probably as well. But there's so many I haven't played, and there's so many good PlayStation 2 games, so I've heard. So why not? Why not commit to something?
Hey, come on, why not?
Hey, why
Just
not?
for once in your life.
How many games do you think there are on the PlayStation 2?
Oh, is this going to be
4,000?
Is there? Oh my god, is there really?
Let me double check this. That seems too high, but it seems low enough that it couldn't be confused for any other statistic.
Okay.
On the sort of Google summary where you ask a question and it puts text at the top from a website, from Wikipedia, the PlayStation 2 received widespread critical acclaim upon release, having sold over 155 million units worldwide. A total of 10,035 game titles were released, with over 1.5 billion copies sold. Nintendo 64, on the other hand, only had 393
Should
games.
I see how
do
many?
some quick maths
Right,
for us.
10,000.
So you think you can
10,000 and
you can play 6 a night?
35, was it? 10,000. It's about 10,000. Yeah,
oh,
10,035 games.
35 divided by 6. 1,672 days. If I divide that by
You have
365
to play every day.
for 4.5 years. That's not as many.
Go on, you can start tonight.
I could definitely do
You can
that.
start, providing there are ROMs.
I could do it by the
for
time
every
I'm
single one.
30. I could
Yeah.
hit all of them.
What? 30 under
6 a
30
day.
have played all of them.
6 a day every day until you're
4.5
30.
years.
Could you please work
just
it
10
out?
minutes.
In fact, can you please work out the maths of if you did 12 games per stream? So still 6 per hour, but only 1 stream per week. So you're going to want your
Oh my God.
10,000
So 10,035 divided by 12
and then divided by 52.
divided by 52. 16 years.
It'd take you 16
And
years
that's
of
if you streamed
streaming.
every week and did 12 games
Yeah.
every stream.
Easy.
Over Christmas,
Easy.
you'd be streaming
Yeah.
and
Yeah, every day.
every
Brilliant.
week.
Sorry, Mum, I can't come down and have Christmas dinner. I must play my 6 games.
Across that
12.
16 years,
12
you would
games.
probably miss enough streams just here and there to add at least another year's worth
Yeah.
of stream, an entire year's
Yeah.
worth of streaming.
Yeah.
Christ.
So maybe I won't play through the PS2. Well, I do 4.5 years.
Only 4.5 years, though,
I'm
every
committed to
day.
things more
The
than
worst
I'm
thing
gonna
about that is occasionally there would be a really good game that you would get round to
Yeah.
time splitters
With
or
lots of
something.
time.
You only have 10 minutes for it.
And then you have to play 10 minutes of Mahjong.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, this is a hell. This is a purgatory that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies. So, having adopted a similar approach for the launch game videos, where I do not play through all of them, as I'm sure people can tell. I just play sort of like 20-ish minutes and get footage and enough to get an idea of the game, and then do a bit more research about it. That's been really nice for experiencing those consoles in sort of in a micro form. But I wouldn't want to play through hundreds of games that way ever. I would never want to do that. So I've specifically picked out some consoles that I think might have not a huge amount of games, like
I'll tell you as you go,
and ones that I actually would be kind of interested, because I haven't covered these on the launch game videos, and they are sort of oddities, curiosities that I'd be quite interested in experiencing the games of anyway. The N-Gage, the Nokia N-Gage.
Yeah.
Peter's going to look that up now.
63.
63.
Four
How
and
many
a
years
half
would that be? If I played one a week, it would take me a year.
Yeah.
And a bit. The Game Gear, the Sega Game Gear, which was their Game Boy rival, but it had color much earlier, and it ate batteries for breakfast.
I've put Game Geet.
The Game Geek.
The Game Git.
Yeah.
365. You could
Oh,
do one a
one a
day.
day.
Perfect. That's perfect. The Atari Lynx, which is Atari's handheld.
Atari
Yeah. Lynx.
Lynx.
Etc.
76.
Okay. What about the Wonder Swan? These are all handhelds, I'm realizing.
You have a type.
I do have a type, yeah.
The Wonder Swan.
Yes.
109 games.
Okay, those are all doable then.
Yeah.
What, 10,035 isn't doable? Weak sauce.
Weak. Step it up. I could do all of those before you would finish your 10,000.
Yeah. If you played one a week, you could do all of those by the time I finished my 10,000.
Quite easily.
Yeah.
How many PS1 games are there, Peter? Or N64, is that what you were going to go for?
N64 was 390 something.
Okay, so that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to
PS1
do the
is-
DD as well? That only had like 6 games.
Yeah. PS1 will be hundreds and hundreds. 7,918.
7,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Good God.
Wow. That's more than I expected.
Well, there you are. There's some answers. We're going to go on to a section. I'm gutted I missed it last week because it's actually brand new. So you told me, right? You both
Yeah.
messaged me and
Yeah.
said,
We
guys,
said-
we did this
Brand new
amazing
section.
new
Tried it out.
section.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce it though, so one of you is going to have to say it.
It's called, Ben, What We Playin.
It's What We Play in time to talk about what we've been playing. Peter Austin, what have you? You are in busy life crunch mode currently.
I am, but weirdly,
What have you been playing?
I've played more this week than I have for the past few weeks, even though I'm in busy life crunch mode.
Okay.
So I've moved on to Spyro 2. You know, I've been playing Spyro 1 just to unwind a little bit. But on top of that, I've also had time to play Klonoa, the Fantasy Reverie series.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I can't look at you in the eye with a straight face
It's a
now
good
and
name.
talk about that
It's
game.
a good name.
I played all the way through the first one. I've played about an hour or two of the second one. And as I said in our Quip Scope, available on the channel, I'm enjoying it gameplay-wise. It's a lot of fun. It's a good palate cleanser. It's a cute game. I really like the puzzle platforming aspect to it and doing all the 2/3 of a triple jump, or in some cases, a whole triple jump.
Wow.
Or sometimes a quadruple jump.
Okay, well, let's not go
That's
too
not
far.
crazy
No.
now.
Enjoying all of that and working out which way to go and how to use the enemies and stuff and use your abilities. That's all great. Cutscenes are just so stupid and weird, and I just don't care.
Are you still mashing the skip button?
I'm still holding the R1 to
forward.
fast forward 5 times speed button. I've not quite got to the point where I'm just skipping entire cutscenes, because I don't think I've ever really done that in a game the first time round. I do sometimes skip cutscenes for games that I've played a million times, but I've never. I really don't like the idea of doing that. That someone has put thought into a story and made these cutscenes, and on my first sitting, skipping through them just seems a bit wrong, a bit disrespectful. But it's just garbage.
But it's crap, so I will.
It makes no sense that from the outside it looks like such a simple, just a 2.5D, very cutesy mascot platformer. Why does it have a story like that? It's not. I don't want to mislead anyone. It's not complicated. It's not difficult to get your head around. It just is a bit grandiose, and it kind of it's on like a cosmic scale sort of thing, and it like really
It doesn't need to be as grand as it is.
yeah, it could be, as you said, as your prediction of the story was, it could be about, oh no, I've got to go and find the necklace that's been stolen to save my village.
Yes.
You know, it could have just been that. But no, it's like the god of dreams is there to like bring nightmares upon the entire universe.
Right.
And in order to do that, he needs to like make the magical princess sorceress stay in her sleep. But then he's not the big bad. He's actually releasing a demon thing that's gonna bring the nightmares. Oh, it's just too much. And everyone's got really odd names that probably sound really good in Japanese, but don't work well in English. So story's rubbish. I would be as happy or happier playing an identical version of the game with no story. If it was just, here is an indie puzzle game, here are the mechanics, and all you do is just make your way through level 1, level 2, level 3, I would have a better time than here's level 1, level 2, level 3, but in between, you're going to hear all about the Nightmare God. No thanks. But it is a really good and fun game to play.
Okay.
Just in terms of the gameplay. So
Don't listen to the story.
I would still recommend it highly, actually, particularly as a little palate cleanser for a lot of people. So, yeah. Ashton?
I haven't played much this week, but I did play a little bit of Mario and Rabbids at the weekend. We played the co-op levels with my boyfriend. And then I played a couple levels of House Flipper and finished every single level in House Flipper. And eventually
Stop swearing, please.
Got bored. Sorry.
You say its full name, please.
Yeah, that is its full name. Sorry about it. That is its full name. I know you're making a joke, but I didn't understand it, so I'm just going to pretend like that's his full name.
Okay.
You know when we censor ourselves?
Yeah, I know, but
Okay.
how...
Sorry. Ashton.
That's what I played.
Oh, no.
Ashton, it's okay.
That's fine.
Flip those houses, right?
Yeah. Flip them.
Flip 'em
What do
big
you
time.
do in House Flipper?
Well, Ben, what you do is...
Is it like Sims build mode is what I want to know.
Kind of, but you're in like first person.
Okay.
So you like... They have a house.
Didn't expect that.
And you go to a house and it's like... Either you go do a mission and someone's like, I need you to paint all my walls yellow. And you're like, okay. And then you go into the house.
Idiots.
And then you just have to paint all the walls.
Do they get the house
yellow.
taken off them after a year?
Yeah, and then they paint it white.
Yeah.
Or like you can buy a house and it's like you have to tidy up all the dirt and pick up all of the mess and hoover up the cockroaches, and then you have to like
Hoover up the cockroaches.
yeah, and then you have to like paint. Sometimes you have to knock walls down, and then you have to put like new furniture and stuff in, and then you sell the house, and then you get more money so you can buy nicer houses.
Flip it.
That
You'll
sounds
flip it.
quite cathartic, actually.
It was.
Does it sort of like have unpacking vibes?
Yeah,
in a
kind
sense?
of. Yeah, I mean, I played like a lot of it for 3 days, and then I finished every single one of the like.
Oh, yeah, you
missions.
weren't. Yeah, we talked about this last week, but you weren't here.
Yeah, and then now I'm bored of it, and I'm not gonna play again.
Oh, you're bored of
Okay.
it? Oh, no.
Yeah.
But you're an expert now. You could probably do it in real
Yeah,
life.
I could probably do it in real
You do
life.
approve it?
Yeah, yeah.
Where we
Yeah.
all just pull together and buy some
Buy a
absolute
house.
rundown,
Yeah.
horrible house and then flip it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That'll be
Perfect.
fun.
It's done.
Won't
That's what
take
we're
too
gonna do.
long.
Won't take too long at all.
Yeah.
Only, 16 years?
Yeah, yeah,
If we do 2 hours a week?
Yeah.
Easy.
exactly.
Is that what you play?
But Ashton
That's
won't
all
be
I played
available
this
because she'll be playing.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
actually
yeah.
busy.
Sorry, I'm busy tonight.
Every day.
I've got to play, I don't know, Tank Wars.
Yeah.
There's probably
Mahjong.
one called Tank Wars,
Yeah.
Mahjong. There'll be a dozen
Gundam.
pinball games.
Mm.
Some games that are the what are they called, like slot machines?
Yeah,
fruit
gambling
machines,
games,
but
yeah.
you don't win any money. You
Yeah.
just play them. Just
Chess.
chess. There'll
Chess
be a
will be
lot
in
of
there.
chess. Yeah. Those slide puzzle games. There'll be some of those too.
I like those slide puzzle games.
You
to
won't
Be fair.
after 16 years. You
It's
won't.
alright, but it'll only be 10 minutes, so I can mix them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How long before you start putting them on for 10 minutes, but not actually playing?
Just
Oh.
looking at
just,
them.
just
Yeah.
staring at your reflection.
Letting
in
demo
the
mode
screen.
come on and just... That's all you
I
need.
can't do this.
For anyone
In
who
the
does
dark.
want to see every video game of certain consoles, there is a channel whose name I can't actually remember now, so that helps, doesn't it? But if you search YouTube, you'll find it, that posts 10 seconds of every game of certain platforms.
Wow.
And I've skimmed through the PS1 one. And yeah, it's interesting stuff. But that's how I know that there are various
7,000.
kinds of. Well, it's not how I know there are 7,000. I had to Google it, but yeah, I don't know if they've done PS2. But if they've done PS1, that's surprising. I didn't realize the margin was as close actually between PS1 and PS2. So
I think if we asked Philip to rank every game on a console, he would just jump off a bridge. Probably.
yeah,
But we could get him to do the Wonder Swan. But I don't think there'd be
then will
much
people click
interest
on
in
it?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would really care. Which is a shame. Anyway,
What have you been playing, Ben?
I've actually played a lot despite being away. While I was away, it was Pokemon Fire Red time. Started a new game. Took the Game Boy Advance SP with me. Got my Squirtle and leveled it up to a Blastoise now. Got Blastoise. But that's very much sort of a holiday game. So I put it back in the drawer now.
I was a
I'll pick it
little
up another
bit
time.
offended, you know,
Why?
because you had a bunch of SPs out that you were going
I
to
will
take
tell
on
you.
holiday,
You
and
can
you didn't
finish
even
this and I'll tell
try.
you why.
You didn't. My pink one wasn't even there.
oh yeah.
I was like, "Where's the pink one, coward?"
I was waiting for you to tweet me so I could reply because Ashton very generously donated her pink Game Boy Advance SP to my collection problem that I have. And it wouldn't charge.
It's broken.
I couldn't even charge it. However, replacement batteries are about £6.
Oh my gosh.
Game Boy Advance SP batteries, so I could replace it. But I was gonna put them all in the running, but some of them just wouldn't charge.
That's
and wouldn't
okay.
start up.
That's
that was
fair.
why. But if you'd have replied to the tweet,
I was going to reply to tweet, but I didn't want to make it about me, so I just.
I would have said, "I'm really sorry," but Pinky, as he's known,
Yeah.
she's known, they're known, wouldn't start up and
Okay.
wouldn't charge. Unfortunately,
That was a shame.
sad. It's very sad. But the gold one, which was on steroids apparently, went for over 12 hours and then wouldn't charge. So
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, didn't take the pink one unfortunately because it has died. RIP. But I did play a lot of Pokemon Fire Red while I was out there. And I also read half of our book called Console Wars, which is currently being
I thought you were going to say,
called
whatever, some book. I was like,
Stormbreaker.
what? Are we doing what we reading now? I could have been doing that for months if that was an
No, it's
option.
because I've been reading nerd books.
Okay.
I read Console Wars, which details the back and forth between Sega and Nintendo in the 90s and late 80s. And it's currently being turned into a TV show and produced by Seth Rogen, who wrote the foreword for this particular edition of the book that I was reading. I'm only about halfway through. It's very romanticized in that it's delivered from the Sega point of view.
Right.
But it's written as if it's an actual narrative, not just a collection of interviews and stuff. It's actually been based on the stuff that the author managed to get. He's written it as if it's an actual story, like a work of fiction, if you will, like
Right.
people talking to each other. And then such and such came into the room, his blonde hair reflecting in the sunlight, etc. Stuff like that. So it's a bit colourful, and there's definitely some bits that are a bit fluffed up, but it's really interesting, and I'm finding it very, very fascinating. I'm looking forward to the TV show and eventually finding the time to read more of it. But I just thought I'd mention that. I have finished Alan Wake. I finished that when I
yeah?
got back.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I thought it was definitely an important game, but has aged about, as I said in the podcast where we talked about it before, aged about as well as Heavy Rain has, where it just, the dialogue feels kind of
Clunky.
rubbish, and a bit cringy. Like I'm sitting in my chair rolling my eyes like, oh, that was rubbish. I think it's good and people should play it, and I'm looking forward to the sequel. But every chapter basically was exactly the same in that you walk around and talk to people in an environment for a bit, then you run around in the dark and fight loads of monsters, and then you get to a safe house, and then you run around in the dark for more time and fight loads of monsters. So much so that once I finished the actual game, I couldn't be asked to play the 2 DLC chapters that they included as well, because I started up one of them and it was just exactly the same gameplay, and I was, which is which is totally understandable. I was like, I can't be asked to run around and shine torches on monsters and then shoot them with guns again. I
Yeah.
just can't be bothered with this anymore. And life's too short. So I finished Alan Wake, as far as I'm concerned. I've done that. I also finished Shredder's Revenge, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles side-scrolling game.
I just find it. Did you play it on your own, or did you?
Yes, I did play it on my own in the end because I couldn't sleep after coming back from holiday because I was so sunburned that I was in agony and I couldn't
You
sleep.
had your own Shredder's Revenge.
So I
Yeah.
did, yeah. I got up at like 1:30 in the morning after not being able to sleep, and then just played it to completion, and it was really good. There's like some rap songs in it and stuff when you fight Shredder in a boss battle. It's amazing. I really enjoyed it. And I look forward to playing more of it with actual people rather than just on my own. What else have I got here?
Is it couch co-op? Because they're all on one screen.
Four-player couch co-op, and then I think it's 6 players online.
Could stream it if we wanted to.
We absolutely could, yeah. Gears of War. I've started playing through Gears of War in co-op. And
the
first one. And it's good. I don't love it, but I also don't like it that much. And I've been told numerous occasions that it gets way better with the sequel because there's a lot of quality of life stuff. Because there's some stuff like I hate the running. And I know this doesn't change, but I hate the fact that you hunch down, you run like a tank, and you just snap onto any bit of environment.
You can't turn as much anymore.
You can't steer my kingdom for a dedicated sprint button.
Yeah.
And I know that that's the same. I actually worked on a Gears of War game briefly when I was in game development, just on the multiplayer stuff. So I actually know how it plays. But I do understand that that 2 and 3 are like really good. And I am looking forward to playing them. And I am enjoying it, but I feel like that's a pretty essential piece of sort of gaming history that I have not experienced myself. So I am looking forward to continuing to play that. Finally, speaking of bits of gaming history, the Sonic Origins collection. I started that. I hate it. I don't like Sonic. Never liked Sonic. Still can't get into this.
Yesterday you said to me,
I don't care anymore.
I'm going to try and sugarcoat how I deliver this.
Because the Sonic fandom is scary, right?
Yeah.
They will come, and also the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account will call me a cuck or something, and he'll ruin my entire life.
Yeah.
But I just don't like it, and I wish I did. I had convinced myself that I was going to play through at least the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. He doesn't go fast. He has to stop all the time to like jump over stuff. And then there's checkpoints, and then you got no rings left, so you just get hit and you die, and you have to do boss fights basically without taking a single hit. I don't like it.
Have you tried?
And it makes me mad because I really want to.
Have you tried any of the sequels?
No. I deleted it.
So you just played the first one and
I
then
got really
bored.
cross and deleted it.
I think there are quality, as you know, because we've ranked them all.
Yes, I know a lot about Sonic, and I'm reading about Sonic in the Sega book as well.
Yeah.
Which made me want to play it.
I believe that the first one is ranked lower than the second and third in our list.
Yes, in our ranked list, which is out now, hopefully.
Philip was messaging about that in the Slack chat the other day, and he was getting equally as mad about how bad it was as like you just got. I think he was saying that Tails just jumps forever. And
so that's the sequel.
Yeah,
he said
that still happens, and he just jumps forever, and all you can hear is just the tail jumping sound and nothing else.
It makes me really sad because the first handful of Sonic games are meant to be the best ones, and at least as far as the first one goes, I played it back in the day and I didn't really like it or get on with it. I've tried it again now in 2022. I don't get it, and I really want to so badly, and I just don't. And you're right, I did say that I would just say something like, you know what, like it's not really for me. Maybe I'm just not into platformers. And honestly, maybe I'm not into platformers because I didn't really like Crash Bandicoot either. But I don't understand it.
If it's any consolation, in the second and third game is you unlock the spin dash, which means you can go fast at will.
Okay. But then you probably
still have to stop all the time.
Tight platforming jumps.
Yeah.
I just want to like run really fast. You know, that's kind of what I want. And
that's
I feel
what
like
I
I've been
expected.
missold PPI.
First time I played Sonic, well, actually I had a demo of one of them when I was a kid, but yeah, like years after that, when I first sat down and played a Sonic game, I thought I would mostly be like speeding around 2D levels, maybe having to time some jumps, but you know, also going through loop-de-loops and things, stopping now and then, but mostly going fast all the time. It's not how it goes.
It's not how it goes.
Especially as the game goes on as well. You have to do a lot of just jumping up platforms like any other platform, like Mario. Might as well be Mario, but he's Sonic. He should be going fast.
The legacy that Sonic the Hedgehog has is
terrible game.
Lunacy.
It's not representative.
I do not understand the fandom of Sonic. I am a bit scared. I'm very scared of it. And I'd like... Honestly, I'd like applause for being so brave today and challenging the Sonic fandom. But at the same time, I know that
he's so brave.
People love Sonic, and I wish that I could also love Sonic, but I can't. And I don't know if I'm alone. but I might be. So
I don't think you're alone.
No.
But-
I am indifferent to Sonic.
well, the
liked
thing
his
is, I
movie.
was indifferent to Sonic. You liked the movie.
Yeah, the movie's
Yeah?
all right.
Okay.
You were indifferent to Sonic until you played it.
Until I played it, and now I'm baffled by Sonic even more so than I was before.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Sonic the Hedgehog. People love him. I don't. And you should watch our ranked list about Sonic.
Should we do question 2 now?
Yeah, we should. I'm sorry.
This comes from Michael Milan. Hello, Abup. Whenever I hear the words roguelike, battle royale, and definitely free to play in a game description, my brain immediately shuts off and my interest disappears. The game might be great. I just know it won't be for me. Are there any genre or keywords that immediately turn you off? What's the opposite? A descriptor that immediately attracts you to a game.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
I am instantly turned off by MOBA. They don't tend to come out as new games generally. It's mostly just, the ones that have established themselves are the ones that, are popular. But I guess new MOBAs do come out occasionally. Souls-likes, I'm afraid, just because I'm not very good at them and I don't want to spend the time to get good at them. The only one that could possibly be described as Souls-like that I did spend time with was Jedi Fallen Order, for obvious reasons. But mostly I won't play a game if it's a Souls-like, which is a shame because that covers quite a big kind of section of the big hitters nowadays. It's becoming more and more popular. Oh, the TV just reset. More and more popular
the video
as
just
a
restarted.
yeah, as a kind of a genre or a set of mechanics. But also, I think one that maybe all three of us wrote down: cards.
Oh yeah.
Remember
Yes.
Lost in Random, the
Yeah.
slightly kind of Tim Burton-esque one with the dice? I was sort of interested in that until they showed a bit more gameplay. I think they just showed a trailer at first at some event, and then later on they showed some gameplay, and they were like, "We've also got this exciting card system." I was like, "Okay, I'm out now. I'm literally not going to play that game because it's cards." And we've talked about this before, that as much as anything else, it's a semantic thing. Or a naming thing, like a nominal thing, because if they just called it your ability tree or something, if the cards at the bottom of the screen were just squares or circles and you just used those instead, I probably wouldn't have as much of an issue with it. But because so many other games have ruined themselves with card systems, I now just am instantly turned off by cards. And that's a shame, actually. That's very... it's a bit ignorant of me, really, to be like, well, that'll be rubbish because it's cards. Like, it's just a word, it's just a name of a style. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play badly. But don't call things cards. Don't add cards to games that don't need them. Please don't do that. So those are some of mine. Yeah.
Now this one might be a bit like unpopular in terms of like a lot of people love this genre, but as soon as I hear/see JRPG, I just don't want
Me
to play
too.
it. I just have no interest in it. And like I know it's not their fault. Look, maybe they're great games. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that the characters are always making noise. That was one thing I didn't like about Final Fantasy VII, was the fact that like constantly like someone's like moaning or groaning or making a
Exclaiming.
little like I'm like, shut up, shush, I'm trying to concentrate, be quiet. But JRPGs, I can't get on board with them, I'm afraid. Also, the word season pass makes me go, no.
Live service game.
Yeah, live service,
Yeah.
season pass always makes me just kind of just roll my eyes. Especially when it's a game that like you said, Lost in Random, like looks really good. And then they'll be like, live service, season pass. And I'm like, no, stop it. I'll have a little tantrum inside, and then I will not play the game ever. So I always get disappointed with that. But if it's a JRPG, go ahead, have a season pass. I don't care. I'm not going to play it anyway. Live your life. But if it's a game that I bloody like, don't say the word season pass.
Don't say it.
No. I don't know what a descriptor immediately attracts me to a game.
Oh, yeah.
I think I don't really know. Normally I'm just kind of, if it looks nice. Does it look pretty? Yeah. Then I want to play
If they say in the trailer, looks nice.
Looks really
you're like,
pretty.
now
Ashton
I'm
Matthews
interested.
Ashton Matthews.
said it looked
Yeah.
nice.
I didn't know. I didn't have like a descriptor that like necessarily puts me on to a game. I know it normally like depends on the situation, doesn't it? Because sometimes they can. I mean, you could say like third-person action adventure game, oh, great, but it looks like trash.
Yeah, or
But
it depends what the
it's
setting
Gollum.
is, or yeah.
So, yeah. Benjamin.
Mine are card system,
Mm-hmm.
live service, Sonic the Hedgehog, seasons.
Yeah.
So not just season pass, but
Yeah.
coming in season 4
Yeah.
of Apex and Legends. Loot boxes, microtransactions, skins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically all that live service crap.
Yeah.
Games as a service, all
NFTs.
of that. NFTs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you see Tony Hawk's making an NFT game?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Talk-
He's
He
partnered
hangs.
to make an NFT doodah, and that's sad, isn't it? At this point as well.
I did hear him
We've-
recently.
Everyone has said for ages that NFTs are bad, and some people have backed off. But NFTs are actively tanking, and now he's doing.
Yeah. I did see a clip of him recently. I don't know where it was from. I think someone was streaming, and they got Tony Hawk to come and play games with them. They're playing some Tony Hawk game. And he said that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 was going to be a thing. You know, they did 1 and 2. And then Activision apparently just sort of got bored or decided they didn't want to do it. They moved Vicarious Visions onto
Blizzard duty.
Yeah, and then it's just been dropped, and he sounded really bummed out about it. And he was like, "Yeah, Activision just kind of decided we're not doing it anymore."
Guess I'll go do NFTs.
So I guess he's thinking, "What am I going to do now?"
It's
Yeah,
the only alternative to my skateboard game.
that is it.
NFTs.
In terms of terminology that attracts me to a game, narrative, single player.
Oh,
Yeah.
single player, yeah.
are big ones for me. I do like a multiplayer game. I
Like
prefer
co-op.
local multiplayer.
co-op.
Co-op is good as well. Like a fully co-op adventure, basically, without ever seeing It Takes
Strangers.
Two or A Way Out. Just the description of them.
Yeah.
They're solely co-op narrative adventures from start to finish.
Yeah.
That piques my interest massively. I
I
really
don't
like
want to
that
have to
stuff.
like play or talk to strangers on the internet.
Yeah, don't make me deal with people.
I'd like to just talk to people I know and not make any more internet friends. Just the ones I have are fine, thank you.
I quite like the word sandbox as well. I think that's always a little bit enticing. Again, it depends on the setting and exactly what you can and can't do. But the idea of a bit of a playpen is fun.
I do like an open world as well. I'm a bit of a slag for an open world.
Whoa.
Gotta be honest.
Blimey. Yeah, open worlds, I feel a bit open worlded out, so I have to pick and choose my open worlds. Same with sandboxes as well, actually, because
Yeah,
I
that's what
feel
mean.
like the pristine example of a sandbox is something like Just Cause, where you can kind of do whatever mayhem you want, but at the same time, those worlds, for me, feel very empty. And I just feel kind of aimless. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
give you something and go, here, go do whatever you want. And I'm like,
But I don't know.
I've
what
got
I
an
want.
hour before bed. So can you just like tell
Can
me
you
a
please
story?
insert
please?
Yeah.
6 10-minute PlayStation 2 games
Yes.
into that hour?
Otherwise, this would take me 18 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. Those are the answers there.
Yeah.
It's time to move on to something a little bizarre. What would you call it, Peter? Have you got?
I would call it weird news.
It's weird news time. Time for some weird video game news. Remember, you can submit your weird video game news to us on Facebook and Twitter. A post goes up about it, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday.
I think normally Tuesdays.
Normally Tuesdays. There it is. So make sure you leave those there and we might use it and give you a shout out. Of course, though, Weird News is brought to us by our podcast producers. If you go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump and support us at a certain tier, you too will become a podcast producer. The podcast producers this week are
Nathan.
GY Goliath.
Sean Lake.
Corey Duffel.
Janet Wicks.
Come on, you can do better than that.
No, I can, but I don't want to because she doesn't understand the joke.
She does,
She does
now.
now.
Oh, she does
Yeah, we've
now?
explained it to her.
Oh, okay. Janet Wicks.
Yeah, that's the stuff. Ellie Nicholas.
Erica Hutchinson.
Melody Elbonet.
Katie Jared.
And Gabrielle Philippink.
Thank you,
Thank you,
very much,
podcast producers.
producers. Melody and Katie are going to have to reach out at some point and tell us
Yeah.
the correct way to pronounce their last names because we sort of guess every week.
I'm
Yeah.
in camp Bonnet and
Garrett.
I think I'm
Oh,
Jared.
I'm in Garrett.
I'm Team Garrett
Okay.
and Bonnet.
I just think it sounds French, doesn't it?
Bonnet.
Benet.
Melody El
Like it. It might not be correct, but I just think it sounds nice.
It does sound
I think
nice.
if it just
Good
ended in
stage
ET, it would be Bonnet, but yeah.
Bonnet.
I like it. I like both of them. Let us know, guys.
Yeah.
And thank you, podcast producers. Peter, what weird news have you got?
I've got a story that a few people sent to us, but only Jack Turner submitted it on the call for weird news. It's the story that's been going around. It's in relation to the Shinzo Abe killing in Japan.
R.I.P.
No. Yes.
So Hideo Kojima threatens to sue over false posts. This is according to BBC.co.uk. Now, this is like, if in different contexts, this could be a semi-amusing story that, Hideo Kojima has been either confused for, or there's a bit of a prank being played on the man for some other event. But obviously, this is something that's really rocked Japan and the world, but particularly in Japan, where they have very little political violence and very little gun crime, and the former prime minister has been shot. But this is weird video game news, so I'm bringing the story along anyway. A legendary video game developer has threatened to sue over hoax posts portraying him as Shinzo Abe's killer. Metal Gear creator Hideo Kojima was linked to the shooting of Japan's former prime minister in pictures on the website 4chan.
Good.
The images were shared by a French politician and reportedly broadcast by Greek and Iranian news outlets. Kojima Productions said it, quote, strongly condemns the spread of fake news and rumors that convey false information. The 4chan post used a photo of Kojima and falsely labeled him as a left-wing extremist with a criminal record. It also included a picture of him wearing a type of ushanka, or fur hat, worn by soldiers in communist Russia, and another of him standing next to a picture of Marxist revolutionary Che Guevara. Screenshots on social media showed Damien Rioux, a French politician associated with the country's nationalist movement, had tweeted out images of Kojima with text translated to "the far left kills." He's since deleted this tweet and issued an apology to Kojima, saying he naively took a joke for information and was wrong not to check before sharing. In response, the game director's company tweeted a statement warning it would consider legal action over the spread of false information. It then has the tweet embedded. Mr. Abe died last Friday after he was shot with a homemade gun. Police say the suspect, named as Tetsuya Yamagami, 41, has admitted the killing. So, not a happy story,
No.
but pretty weird that
Very
happened.
weird.
4chan, the cesspit of the internet.
So when I first saw that was happening, all I saw, the first I saw of that story was a screenshot of one of those news outlets. I guess it was the Greek or Iranian one, with a picture of Kojima, and I thought, is this just a terrible misunderstanding that they've somehow either maybe tried to source an image of the actual suspect and done some very bad Google foo and ended up with a picture of Kojima. And I thought that's what had happened, and it would all kind of come out in the wash and maybe be slightly more, haha, oh dear, that's an awkward but silly thing that's happened. Then later I learned, oh no, 4chan were deliberately just spreading this misinformation, which is a whole different thing. Just choosing someone and saying, let's make everyone think they are a political murderer.
Yeah.
And incredibly effective as well, which is the scary part.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence where possible, everybody, and fact check your sources and your media.
Yeah.
The fact this isn't even the first time it's happened to him as well. Like I saw in the wake of this, someone shared a post of Hideo and someone holding one of the BD things from Death Stranding, and the comment was like, look at these pro-abortion people had the baby and had it put in resin just as a protest against pro-life people. And everyone was obviously this was shared on all the pro-life things.
Yeah,
people were like, wow, disgusting. And it's just poor Hideo.
Yeah, well,
just trying
people
to
are
make his video
really
games.
stupid.
Yeah.
And they
They
will
are.
believe silly things. So.
Yeah.
Weird.
Ashton, have you got some slightly lighter weird news for us?
Do have some. It comes from Lloyd W90 on Twitter. Random. Voice of Zelda in CDI games would love to return to the role.
Oh no.
So the Nintendo Life. She's currently working on an homage to the CDI series.
God.
The Legend of Zelda CDI games might not have had much going for them.
No.
But one thing that they that was arguably impressive was the voice acting. Bonnie Jean Wilbur was the original Princess Zelda in the series, providing the voice for the character in the 1993 Philips CDI releases Link, The Faces of Evil, and Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon.
Tommy.
Might be Gamelon. My brain is saying Gamelon, but I could be wrong.
It is. I think it's not Gamelon. I just think it's funny.
Gay melon.
Gamelon.
Gay
There's
melon,
just no
yeah.
way to know.
In a recent interview with Samuel Clements of Game Reviews, the voice actor mentioned how she should be all for reprising her role as Princess Zelda. Recently, she also agreed to return to the role to work on a homage to the original CDI series, not affiliated with Nintendo. And in a quote, "I would return to voice Zelda if asked. I love doing theatre, but voice acting is more lucrative. We were contacted by someone who's doing a homage to the CDI series, and he also asked us if we wanted to reprise our roles. It's not affiliated with Nintendo. We agreed to it, so that should be interesting." So good news, everyone. Another one's coming. Not affiliated, though. So.
I wasn't aware that the voice acting was particularly renowned. I thought Link in particular was meant to be dreadful.
I don't know if they're being sarcastic and saying it was pretty impressive, like, notable.
The tone was. I didn't get the tone.
No, I
properly.
didn't.
No.
If they
it's
were
supposed to be
It's not
bad,
really.
isn't it? I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
In
It's
the
meant to be
same
horrible.
interview, she mentioned how beautiful she found the recent Zelda game. While she's not a gamer herself and she doesn't own a Nintendo console, she's able to spectate her niece playing the game on her Nintendo Switch. I watched her play a recent Zelda game and was just beautiful. The advancements in technology are just impressive. I was impressed with the detail and colour of the graphics, and it piqued my interest. Nowadays, Zelda is voiced by Patricia Somerset, who most recently reprised her role as Princess in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Mm-hmm.
So our gal, what's her name? Bonnie Jean Wilbur
Bonnie Jean
wants to come back and voice this beautiful lady.
It certainly has come a long
Talented.
way since the Philips CDI, hasn't it?
Yes.
Zelda.
The dark years.
Yeah.
The dark times. Ben, do you have some news?
I do have some news. It comes courtesy of Michael Milan at Lord of Penguins on Twitter. And this is a story all about how it's from
Okay.
I'm assuming .com, yes. Somebody put Morbius on Game Boy Color.
Whoa.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
This is by Ross Burlingame. It's Morbin time for the Game Boy Color. In a new video, YouTuber, I can't read it, Wolfden has put Morbius onto Game Boy Color for some reason, it says in quotes, along a tedious process that nevertheless may have been more enjoyable than actually watching Morbius. If this sounds familiar to you, it might be that you remember that the same YouTuber put Christopher Nolan's Tenet onto Game Boy Advance, although that time it was inspired by something specific, the filmmaker's insistence that Tenet should be seen on the largest screen possible, despite being released early in the pandemic when most moviegoers were not willing to go to the theaters. While that time, Wolf then joked that they had put the movie on Game Boy out of spite, this time the YouTuber admits that they did Morbius just for some reason. You can watch the video below, blah, blah, blah. With Tenet, Wolf then spread it out over 5 GBA. So to be clear, he's not made a game. He's managed to
put the film.
compress the movie onto a cartridge.
Yeah.
Spread it out over 5 GBA cartridges, each containing about half an hour of video at 6 frames per second with a resolution of 192
6?
by 128.
Get in.
Even though Morbius isn't nearly as long as Tenet, the additional compression needed to make the movie fit onto 4 megabyte Game Boy Color cartridges meant that Morbius took 36 cartridges.
Oh.
Since that's a lot of blank cartridges and nobody is going to actually watch the movie this way, he only made 3 of the 36 cartridges.
Right.
The original plan was to put Dune on a Game Boy Color cartridge because the director of that film said some similarly dumb stuff about wanting people to go to the theatre to see his film on as big a screen as possible, said Bob Wolf, the creator behind
Dune
the
was a
account.
bad movie.
You reckon?
I didn't like it. I didn't know what was going on.
I
the
heard
whole
it was
time.
amazing, but I didn't get a chance to see
I watched it
it.
and I
never
was
saw it.
so bored. I had no idea what was going on. It was just sand.
Were there Spice Wars? And was it Lex as well?
It was not Legs.
Oh, what?
And there wasn't even any Spice Wars.
Well, now I'm not going to watch it.
Rubbish. He admitted that he may have been a little intimidated by the scope of the project, which allowed Dune's window of relevancy kind of pass him by before he ever got started. Anyway, basically, so what he's done there, I'll read this sum up because it just dunks on Morbius, and I enjoy that.
Yeah.
After Dune, what's the next best thing? Morbius, of course. One of Marvel's most compelling and conflicted characters comes to the big screen as Oscar winner Jared Leto transforms into the enigmatic anti-hero Michael Morbius. Dangerously ill with a rare blood disorder and determined to save others suffering his same fate, Dr. Morbius attempts a desperate gamble. What at first appears to be a radical success soon reveals itself to be a remedy potentially worse than the disease. Starring Jared Leto, Matt Smith, and other names. Sony's Morbius is now, no, you know what? It's actually not a donkey on it at all. It's just an advert. Rubbish. I thought that was going to be a final just sort of
Take that.
Morbius, but no, it's not actually. So if you want to watch Morbius on Game Boy Color, then you can watch the first 3 parts of 36, I assume. And there's a YouTube video about it in the description. That's my weird news.
Love that. I would hate to be the person who did that tweet that said, oh, my favorite part of the film is when he said it's Morbin time. Because now everyone, whenever they talk about Morbius, does a it's Morbin time joke. We all did one, and then it was the first line of the article. Imagine being that person, and when you're just sort of going around life and occasionally someone might mention Morbius, someone will say it's Morbin time, and you would think,
would you not be a little bit proud, though?
You would be proud for a while, and that, like, not only that you had like a viral tweet, but a viral tweet that then everyone, whether you're a Twitter user or not, everyone knows the it's Morbin time joke now. So that's a great success. But I think you would then eventually think I've created a monster.
mobster.
We've both had our Twitter content stolen and shared around, haven't we?
Yeah,
and it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, that's right.
It feels kind of bad. So I would understand if the Morbin time person feels a bit gutted
because no one remembers them.
No, nobody remembers the origin of it's Morbin time.
No one remember
that it is Morbin time.
It's never how's the Morbin time guy.
No one remembers you for your shirt or the person who actually designed and made the shirt.
No, or the McNuggies cake either often gets shared around.
No, the McNuggies
like
cake goes around. Cursed cakes,
not attributed to anyone. Just a screenshot.
They tend to crop around.
Yep.
No one remembers me for putting quinoa on the Scrabble board.
No.
But white people Twitter subreddit really enjoys that one every now and then.
Yeah.
So never mind.
Good.
It's Morbin time.
It is Morbin time.
Question 3. Samuel Benson says,
what does he say?
PTO.
What does he say, Peter?
I can't wait.
He says, I recently started playing Weird West on a whim, and I'm absolutely hooked. Are there any games that you decided to try on a whim that ended up being a personal favorite? Thank you very much, Samuel.
Thank you, Sam.
I was gifted my copy of Resident Evil 4 for my birthday from Peter's Gamer Uncle trademark. I had no idea that game really existed. I wasn't that... I didn't really have my finger on the pulse back then with gaming. I would occasionally just buy a gaming magazine from the corner shop, probably just to get the demo disc. I wasn't keeping up with the news. So that came as a surprise to me. And I was like, oh, okay, what's this? Resi 4, okay. And I was aware of the previous ones. I played those on PS1. But I never would have gone out of my way to find that game or buy it. Might never have heard about it. Played it, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's one of the best games of all time as well. So that's probably one. Whether you can call it a whim or someone bought it for you as a present that you didn't ask for.
Define whim, though,
in
this sense. I think
I don't know.
I think it can be kind of broad.
But I was also struggling to think of games that I really did just
I don't play games on a whim, really.
Yeah, so that was my best thing. The other one, the closest thing as well to a game that I really like is that I got into the Orcs Must Die series because I saw Lewis and Simon, maybe just Lewis, play it on Yogscast years and years ago. They played the first one. I thought, well, that looks cool. And I gave it a go, and now I've played all 3 of the main games, and I'll continue to play them as long as they keep bringing them out in that style. I don't play the MOBA one for reasons discussed in question 2. But yeah, so those 2, I guess, are the closest thing. But yeah, I don't really play games on a whim that much.
Well, I do. I'll see something come up, and I'll be like, I'm just going to download that. Why not? And just whack it on my PC and play it for a bit. So I did that with Evil Genius 2, and I really enjoyed playing that. I just thought, I've seen that, and why not just give it a go? And same with House Flipper. It was on like one of the most recent additions to Game Pass, and I just happened to be like, well, let's see what this is like, and played a lot of that. But then in terms of like console games, I think it was God of War that we did this for. We happened to pop into CX. One of my friends was looking for something, and I saw God of War, and I was like, well, we haven't played it, and I was like, looks good, and I kind of hadn't like really looked into it that much because it was like I just hadn't really, and I was like, well, let's just get this and see what happens, and it is a great game, and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, man, I'm really glad I bought this. But actually, I didn't play it as soon as I bought it because we bought it and then I proceeded to break my leg and then didn't play it until I was stuck at home with a broken leg. So I played it like a couple of weeks after I bought it and I finished it in like 2 days because I didn't have anything else to do because I couldn't bloody move. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I just happened to pick it up in CEX one day and we'd seen it and Ben knew more about it than I did, and he was like, "Oh, this will be a good game." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's just buy it then." Yeah. So God of War was probably the one that I happened to pick up and really enjoyed the most. But I do tend to find just anything on Game Pass and just whack it on and see if I like it, and if not, Outriders that bitch.
Outriders.
Yeah. So I played Outriders and it wouldn't work and it was really annoying me. So I just completely uninstalled it from my PC and like did a Sonic where I was like, uninstall it, get rid of it. Don't want to ever play this again.
Yeah.
So now it's a common phrase between me and my boyfriend that if we don't like something, we just
Outriders.
Outriders it. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Yeah. It doesn't help as well when it's like you're kind of grumpy anyway. And there's a flipping heat wave going on.
Yeah.
And you keep dying on the blooming one Sonic stage. I can't do that. I cannot listen to this repeating music anymore. I've got to get rid of this. Yeah. So I, similarly to you, Peter, in terms of games that have been thrust upon me, my dad rented a couple of games from my local library. Used to have PS2 games, not many, but they did.
10,035.
Yeah, not all of them. But my dad brought home Star Wars Battlefront one time, which I'd never heard of, and played that. And another time he brought home Shadow of the Colossus.
Nice.
So I got to experience those two games just out of nowhere, not really, especially Shadow of the Colossus, not really knowing anything about it and being absolutely blown away by it. In terms of a proper whim game, I am going to say Late Shift by Wales Interactive.
Okay.
Purely because of the dominoes that it started. And I don't
By
even
that,
know...
do you mean diarrhea? Or...
Yes, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
In multiple senses, the dominoes that it's caused to fall. In that I now own pretty much every Wales Interactive game, and I await all of their new releases very eagerly. Huge.
Is that the bowl one, Late Shift?
The rice bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know where your flipping rice bowl is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible.
Really
Right.
bad.
And I don't know why I bought it. I think I got it because maybe Push Square wrote about it. It was and I saw that it was sort of like an FMV, which I wasn't really that, no one was really doing FMV anymore. But it was a choose your own thing and it was feature length. And I thought that'd be fun to have some people around. And it just sort of unintentionally kick-started this love affair with Wales Interactive, where they just keep producing these brilliantly wonky games.
Yeah.
And I keep buying them. And they've got a new one that they announced this week, which is huge. And I
What's it
can't,
called?
was it Mia and
The
the
Magic
Dragon?
Dragon Princess.
Dragon
Princess or
Princess, something like
something?
that. It's going to be brilliant. I can't wait. It's coming out
And
this
they follow
year.
you on Twitter now.
They do follow me on Twitter. Best friends. They follow TripleJump as well.
I think you're single-handedly keeping them going.
I'm the only one buying all their games, except I do wishlist all of their games. So as soon as they're on sale, I buy them. But they're not that expensive anyway.
And most of them are trash. So
Yeah. Oh,
good trash.
absolutely. Yeah. So they've been on some winners recently. I really enjoyed Bloodshaw. That was very special. But probably Late Shift, and outside of that, perhaps Oxenfree, which again I did buy after seeing on a video that I think it was PlayStation Access made about games you could finish in one sitting. And I was like, oh, Oxenfree, that sounds fun. So I bought that and played it. Played it on stream this week. Most of the audio has been muted in the VOD, just in case you're curious, because it had music in it that I didn't realize. So that was great.
it's really weird, like random bits that are muted that are just like background music that is like, you can't have that. And it happens twice for like 10 minutes.
So that's really good. So
Sorry.
it's just huge portions of the VOD that are
Yeah.
silenced. So that's kind of rubbish. There we are. That's mine. I think it's time to move on to something rather huge.
Rather large.
Massive.
Rather large. The big discussion. It's big discussion time. This week's Big's discussion comes courtesy of Comroy Milk, who says, "Greetings, BAP. Ubisoft have recently announced that they're discontinuing support for 15 games at the time of writing, including numerous Assassin's Creed games and Far Cry 3 to focus on other games. This means that players will no longer be able to access DLCs and in some cases the entire game which they have downloaded and paid for. Do you feel as though Ubisoft were justified in this decision to lower the Do you feel as though Ubisoft were justified in this decision due to the lower player counts of these older games, or do you feel as though they should offer some form of compensation to those affected by this decision? Keep up the amazing work, Comroy Milk." So this has been a very confusing situation because Ubisoft put out they put warnings on products and people inferred a lot from that. Then they clarified, and then they've clarified again. So I've got the majority of an article here from The Verge written by Jay Peters, which I am going to read, which should hopefully clear some stuff up.
That's the one I read.
But it does raise a more interesting point about ownership of digital titles and what is the flipping point if people are going to do stuff like this. So to be clear, before I read this, the games are not being taken away from people who already own them.
No.
Yeah.
Online functionality is being turned off. They will no longer be available for sale after a certain period, and access to some DLCs, which I think are also online skewed, are also being disabled. But the games are not being taken away from people who already own them.
And you'll be able to re-download them still, even if you don't have a copy downloaded at present time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be unacceptable. I think we can all agree. But online servers being turned off is sadly part and parcel of games getting old. Anyway, this article. Multiple Ubisoft games on Steam will not be accessible, it says in quotes, after September the 1st, according to notices on the game's Steam pages. But based on a statement from Ubisoft, the situation isn't as bad as that message would make it seem. If you want to see an example of the new notice, check out the Steam page for Assassin's Creed Liberation HD. It has 2. At the request of the publisher, Assassin's Creed Liberation HD is no longer available for sale on Steam. And then the second one, please note this title will not be accessible following September the 1st, 2022. Last week, Ubisoft announced that it would be shutting down multiplayer for more than a dozen games. Also on September 1st, and 4 games on that list have the will not be playable notice. This notice appears to warn players that their purchases won't be available at all, but confusingly, current owners will actually be able to access affected games, according to Ubisoft. And this is a quote now. "As stated in our support article, only DLCs and online features will be affected by the upcoming decommissioning," Ubisoft Senior Corporate Communications Manager Jessica Roach said in a statement to The Verge. "Current owners of those games will still be able to access, play, or re-download them. Our teams are working with our partners to update this information across all storefronts and are also assessing all available options for players who will be impacted when these games' online services are decommissioned on September the 1st, 2022. I asked specifically if this means that people who own the games with the will not be accessible message will be able to access, play, or re-download them, and Roach confirmed that this would be the case. As of this writing, and this was Monday, by the way, all but one of the PC games mentioned in Ubisoft's support article that I could find on Steam have a notice of some kind. As for other games mentioned in Ubisoft's blog post, Assassin's Creed 3 has the notice that it's no longer for sale on Steam, but it does not have the notice that it will become inaccessible. Assassin's Creed 2 doesn't have any notices on its Steam page. I couldn't find a Steam overview page for Driver San Francisco, though on a community page there are some complaints about the game being inaccessible. So it's a massive mess, basically. This messy situation is yet another reminder that ownership of digital content is often at the whims of companies and situations outside of your control. Just last week, it came to light that Sony would be removing some movies and TV shows bought on the PlayStation Store from libraries for customers in Germany and Austria. So, a long article, but basically, Ubisoft have had a colossal messaging nightmare, and they're now scrambling to clarify, but they are not removing the games from people who already own them.
It's because they said that the game would not be accessible past September 1st, which everyone was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Do you mean I will not be able to access my game anymore? Like, because that is the thing that, like, spurred this all up. Obviously, they said they weren't going to be able to be bought anymore on Steam past September 1st, which is one thing. And clarifying that online multiplayer will not be available is another thing. But saying a game will not be accessible anymore is a completely different ballgame.
Caused a big stir at the time before it had been clarified. So, I mean, but yeah, this does just kind of make you think more about physical games, having hard copies of something. You just know that you will always have access to it. I mean, in this case, having a physical game versus a digital copy doesn't actually make a difference because seemingly you will be able to still access your digital copy. So, but it does make me wonder. I almost wasn't surprised when this story broke and they were saying you won't be able to download your digital copy anymore. The fact that I wasn't surprised by that makes me wonder, like, will that eventually start happening
What could they
one
get
day?
away with?
Yeah, yeah. So at that point, owning a physical copy of a game would make a lot more sense. It's the reason why I own a lot of my film and TV on physical, because although something might be available on Netflix, things come and go on there. I know I was midway through, if you'll forgive just me being a stereotype of myself, I was midway through and I'm livid. Jonathan Creek, right?
Oh, fantastic show.
Alan Davies' semi-supernatural detective show, or not supernatural as he always discovers, is the point.
He's so good at detective.
Yeah, he's
it's like
a magic
Scooby-Doo,
man.
but it's just Alan Davis.
It is like Scooby-Doo. And fortunately, I have actually seen them all before, but I was doing a rewatch last year, and it just vanished off iPlayer in the middle of... And I can see why, because I was channel hopping the other day, and it was on some nothing channel, like channel 103 or whatever, which was... so they probably did some kind of licensing thing, and now it's had to go off iPlayer so that they can run it on actual television. So
Yesterday or whatever.
yeah. So you know, the same thing could end up happening with games if we have if we're relying more and more on the likes of Game Pass and digital storefronts and stuff. I do just worry about the future. I think this is mostly turned out okay, apart from the fact that servers are being turned off. But as you said, Ben, that's just part and parcel of multiplayer games. It's happened to the best of multiplayer games over the past few years. I know the Halo servers in particular were big stories when they were turned off. But then the other issue as well is games that have always online DRM. So even when it's a single player game that requires you to always be online, if those servers get shut down for the same reasons, because there are few players, at that point you effectively can't play your single player game. And that is where this could get dodgy. And at the moment that's not really happening so much because always online games are still relatively young, and so most of them still have active servers. But
you say that the
over
other day
time-
when I was playing Cyberpunk, the disc was in my PlayStation and it wouldn't let me play it because it didn't think I owned the game.
wow.
Because my LAN cable was being wonky and it was like, you don't own the game. I was like, it's in the PlayStation. What
Oh my
do you
gosh.
mean?
That's not great.
No, it's not.
I had to restart my router and my PlayStation, and eventually it let me play the game.
So if your internet goes down,
I can't play the game.
potentially you might not be able to play that game
No,
for some silly
weird.
reason. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I am a bit worried because I have quite a few online only versions of PlayStation games at the moment, because me and my boyfriend are living apart, and if one of us buys it, if it's a digital copy, we can both play it. But I worry that I don't have the physical version of a lot of my games. I know that most of these games are brand new, so there's a very small chance that right now that they will have any issue with them at all. But it's that thing of being like, well, in a few years' time, what happens if they just go, yeah, you can't have that anymore, we're getting rid of this. This isn't yours anymore.
We're going to make you repurchase. So when the story broke, I thought they were removing stuff from Steam and saying you have to rebuy it on Uplay or whatever.
Ubisoft Connect or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I do worry about like having things digitally, and obviously Steam in itself, a lot of those games are only available on Steam, or other like online services like Ubisoft Connect or whatever. But it is a worry that you'll pay for it on Steam, and then one day Steam will cease to exist, and none of those games that you have will be available to play on anything, or like you say, you'll have to buy them again somewhere else. So that is kind of the issue with a lot of online game ownership, like you say, that things can just come and go very easily. And it also, a lot of it encourages you not to buy a game like Game Pass and like PlayStation Plus. Like Stray coming to PlayStation Plus next week when it comes out.
Is it premium or extra?
Extra, I think,
Extra.
because it's not a legacy, is it? It's a new one, so I think that's premium.
Yes.
No, extra. I don't know.
Not an essential title.
Not
No,
an
it's not
essential.
essential.
No. But yeah, like if you have that, you don't need to buy the game because you've got that. So technically, they could take that off there, and then you're going to have to buy it again anyway, even though you've paid your bloody PlayStation Plus subscription. But it encourages you not to buy the game straight up because it's going to be somewhere else. So there's kind of a lot of like issue. I have an issue with it, but also I will continue to buy things digitally because it's just a lot easier. And in some ways, sometimes it's cheaper as well. So I don't like it, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Yes, it's for this kind of reason that I much prefer to have physical games than digital ones, as and when I choose to, buy them. But I'm more curious in this case about why these games are no longer going to be for sale, because they aren't online only games.
Yeah, so why not just keep selling it forever?
And it can't be a licensing issue, surely, because they own Assassin's Creed. It's not like Activision with Marvel games or whoever and Star Wars games. There's no licensing agreement to run out here. Surely it's owned by Ubisoft wholesale.
That's
So
a good point, actually, to think about.
why are these? I understand that it's frustrating that these games are being removed. And Assassin's Creed Liberation HD is great as well. That was the Vita Assassin's Creed game that then did get ported to PC. So Sony sure as hell aren't going to make that game available on PlayStation anytime soon, because the Vita never existed apparently. So that game is effectively, outside of people who already own it, lost. It's effectively gone.
Is it not on Ubisoft Connect?
What?
Or
Ubisoft Connect.
are these games not on? Because Xbox Game Pass has a lot of Assassin's Creed games on it.
It does. I'm not sure
But I
where
don't know if
Liberation
these ones
HD
are-
specifically landed, but it is kind of worrying that these games aren't just having their online services turned off, which I think is understandable if enough time has passed and no one's playing it anymore. And also, especially on PC, people will find a way to start up their own servers so people can keep playing it, and they'll be kept alive by the community, I would imagine. But the fact that they're removing these games entirely so you can't buy them anymore, it's a really strange move. I don't understand.
Do you think they could be planning some sort of remaster pack, and they don't want the same thing to happen to them that happened with the GTA trilogy, where as soon as the trilogy released, then Rockstar removed the games to force people to buy the trilogy? So maybe they're preempting and saying, we'll
Could
remove
be.
these now.
Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah.
Assassin's
So that
Creed Liberation HD is technically already a
Well,
kind
yeah.
of remaster, but if they were putting it all in a collection together, maybe. Alternatively, it could be that they're taking them all off Steam to put them on their own service.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, I
is
think that could well
called
be it.
Ubisoft Plus, I want to say.
What,
They have their own service, don't they, Ubisoft, that no one uses?
I think, is it Uplay or something?
Uplay is
has
the stuff that's
been-
plugged into games, isn't it, where you earn rewards? But I swear they
I
have
don't
their
know.
own
I
subscription
thought it was called
service.
Ubisoft Connect.
There is a thing
But
called
no,
Ubisoft
that's
Connect,
their
yeah.
that's their state of play kind of thing, isn't it? It's Ubisoft Connect. But
I
I
have no
swear
idea.
it was,
Ubisoft Connect is a digital distribution, digital
Okay, well,
rights
there you are.
management. Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be it. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is going to blow up in their face even more. Obviously, the real problem here is that they did not get their messaging right, and everyone got really confused and up in arms, understandably so. But thankfully, people who still own the game can keep them. Own the games can keep them. I think it's
I like to think
weird
it
that
was-
these games are being taken down entirely. That doesn't make a lot of sense unless
Yeah.
we're about to learn something else about their intention with them. But generally, this is, like, as you were saying, in terms of how you just sort of assumed, yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. That's how I felt about when PlayStation announced that PlayStation Classics you'd bought back in the day on PS3, the PS3 era PSN store, would be available for free for you if they appeared as part of the PlayStation Premium Classic game selection. And I was shocked by that, because I had pretty much written off any chance of ever playing these games on modern hardware. I was
Yeah.
just like, well, I'm just going to have to rebuy them when they relist them under a different category or whatever.
I was obviously not pleased with the news,
No,
but I thought,
no.
yeah,
But it's
that's,
like, yeah, that
that's the
sounds
way
about right.
they
because
work nowadays.
That's what companies will do
Yeah.
when they
Yeah.
can. And it's a nice surprise when they don't. I think Microsoft have it right. Nintendo are sort of kicking their heels a bit, and PlayStation are kind of doing it, but it's not enough just yet. With the backwards compatibility, but you should be able to buy something on a console in 2007 and still be able to play it now, or at least still own the rights to it. The rights should never be stripped away from you.
Yeah.
And that's the real risk in terms of buying digital over physical. But then I suppose it's a case of how much money did you pay for that game at that time, and do you really care all that much that you paid $6.99 for Resident Evil 2 as a PS1 classic.
And when was the last time you played it?
When was the last time you
And when are
played
you
it?
next going to
It's
play
been
it?
that many years. Can you justify spending £11 to play it now? Probably. It's still a dick move, but
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's your stuff. You paid for it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll always prefer physical over digital, but digital is very convenient.
It is very convenient.
I didn't know that stuff about stuff disappearing off the German. What was that you said?
So this
towards
is
the end?
when they used to sell movie and TV shows,
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Wasn't that because I remember we talked about this a little while ago? I think wasn't it because like some laws or something changed in Germany and Austria that meant that like certain movies or something there was like I remember talking about this, that there was like a law change that
Right.
affected a bunch of like games and movies and stuff.
Okay.
So stuff disappeared off people's libraries that they'd
yeah.
already paid
That-
for.
But it's weird that
Might
people
be
already
it.
owned them and lost them.
and they took them away. Yeah, see that I don't know anybody who ever bought movies or TV through the PlayStation Store, but clearly people have done it.
This is why I don't buy digital movies through.
No,
anything.
I would
might
never- I'd
stream
never
them
bought a digital
sometimes,
movie.
but I would never buy them through even Amazon or PlayStation Store or anything, because I would just feel like, well, one day there's going to be some sort of rebrand to the PlayStation movie store library, or Amazon's, the way they handle movies, and during that rebrand I will lose that stuff. They will just
Yeah.
not keep that thing on my library. So what's the point in, I could pay the same price or maybe a bit more, but then just know that I've got it forever on physical.
Yeah.
I only
Imagine having a
read
huge
something.
digital library of movies. I can't.
No.
I genuinely can't think. But games is we just accept that as part of it. But
yeah.
when things are being removed, if you don't have access to it anymore, then you're buggered. Fortunately, in this case, you do.
Yeah.
You do still have access to it, so it's not as bad.
I like to think that Ubisoft were like, we're taking all of our games off you, and Steam was like, all right, here's the messaging we're going to put out.
Yeah, we're gonna sting you though.
Suck it.
Well, there we are. Let us know in the comments below what you think of this whole debacle and whether you prefer digital over physical and why. If you're on PC, you're probably in a better place in terms of backwards compatibility and accessing your old content, unless stuff like this happens.
Yeah.
In which case it gets a bit more muddy, the waters, that is. Peter,
Yes.
if people were to try and find us on the internet, where would they go?
Go to Team TripleJump everywhere. YouTube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump for all of our video content and live streams. We stream on both. And when we're streaming on both, we're modded by Lobrotovich, Trailing Badger, and Mr. Black. Amazon Prime comes with a free Twitch sub as part of the bundle. You can spend that on us if you like. That would be nice. Twitter.com and Facebook.com/Team TripleJump for our social media, video and live stream announcements, legacy video content. We'll probably be able to go live on Facebook again soon-ish once Fraser's stopped just, doing really bad stuff. No, he's fine. He's lovely. TikTok.com/@Team TripleJump to see Fraser doing good stuff. And Ashton too. We have a TikTok. Go to it. Patreon.com/Team TripleJump for our Patreon rewards. There are loads of them, including things relating to this podcast. You can sponsor it for weird news. You can ask questions. You can listen to our other podcasts we're about to record, and loads of other things too. Have a look.
We have a website, don't you know? It's triplej.map/ Oh, no, wait, hold on. I got ahead of myself. It's triplej.map, that's ju.mp. It spells jump. It's very clever. If you want to join our Discord and chat with our wonderful community, why not go to triplej.map/Discord. On Discord, we're modded by Jack, Joe, Tori, and Hollow Eyes. And if they tell you to do something, bloody well do it. If you want to listen to the podcast in its audio forms, why not go to triplej.map/podcast.
Oh, you didn't say perhaps you're
I know, I was trying to think of something.
going
but
to TwitchCon.
perhaps you're going to TwitchCon and you've got a very long journey ahead of you to Amsterdam. Why not put on a podcast? Maybe this one, if you fancy. It's triplej.map/podcast. If you want to check out one of the many live streams we do a week, if you've missed one, go to triplej.map/VODs. And if you want to get a cameo from us three or James Dickens, why not go to triplej.map/cameo. And last but not least, if you want to buy some sick and cool merch, make sure you're checking out the merch store on Tuesday for a sick and really cool announcement if you fancy. Why not go to tripplejumpshop.com and make sure you're following @tripplejumpshop on Twitter for the latest merch announcements.
Why not follow Peter and Ashton on Twitter and Instagram at that Peter Austin and at Scrambled Ashton, and myself just on Twitter at confused_dude. We do lists every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday being the joint stream.
Blaze it.
On YouTube, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday being solo streams on Twitch. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly Friday for patrons of a certain tier. Sunday for everyone else. The podcast is every Saturday and we do shows all the bloody time. Come and check them out. Why not leave a 5-star review on iTunes or your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. So do that, please. We'd really appreciate it. Out on the channel this week, we had a Quipscope, didn't we, Peter?
We did. Klonoa. Wahoo! That's what he says.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go watch
Hunting
it.
the dream god.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know what he's
Klonoa
doing.
kills God.
All I know is he's jumping. And he does a really good job of it, and it's fun.
Hey, good lad. Oh, good boy.
Don't care why he's jumping.
Also, out now, fingers crossed, on the channel is every Sonic the Hedgehog video game ranked from worst to best. It's a long one. It's like 2 and a bit hours long. Philip nearly lost his mind writing it. Alex definitely lost his mind editing it.
Yeah.
Peter and I lost our mind trying to pronounce Sonic in various ways.
Yeah.
Pretty sane.
Ashton's fine.
I wasn't involved in it at all, so I'm feeling pretty great right now.
We've always got to keep Ashton safe.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
so that's out now. You should go and watch it. Personal feelings about Sonic aside, to be clear, I want to make this clear because after the Death Stranding controversy, that I don't hate Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm just kind of gutted that I couldn't get into it the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
It's a great video. It's really, really good, and you should go and watch it, please. What else we got? After Dark. That came out on Monday, our Patreon exclusive podcast. We're about to record another one now, so go check that out.
That'll be coming out in 2 weeks.
Yes, we're recording way ahead.
And there's another one that's coming out in a few weeks that we're recording next week. So if you are a patron, make sure you're looking out for the After Dark question post that will be going out next week as well, because some of us are off for a week. So
and don't be alarmed if you don't see a question post for a while. You will still get the episodes at the appropriate time. It's just that we'll have recorded in advance.
Yes.
Finally, there is a brand new shirt dropping on Tuesday, that being the 19th of July. That is finally the Kiss Me, I'm Barbara t-shirt, the one that is often... oh my goodness, bless you.
God.
Jesus, someone nearly
That's
died
the
out there.
loudest sneeze I've ever heard.
The oft memed and joked about shirt that people keep demanding in the Twitch chat. We've actually made it. It's going to be limited edition, similar to the Cat's Protection shirt, in that it's not going to be listed on the store forever. It's only going to be available for 2 weeks. So that's until the 2nd of August. So it will straddle payday if you want to wait until then to buy one. It is a wonderful piece of art done by Danji's Designs. Who's a preeminent member of our community art-wise. You will have seen some of the stuff that he's done for us during the TAT appeal over
He's
Christmas
very
last
talented.
year. Very, very good. So if you want to get one of those, only available for 2 weeks, live on Tuesday, TripleJumpShop.com, and we'll be rolling ads on our streams as well to remind you.
We've been in touch with Ubisoft and they said, this shirt will be unavailable from
You will no longer be
2nd
able
of
to
August.
access
No,
this
you
shirt.
can access this shirt.
Yeah.
Yes,
2nd of
absolutely. And there we are. That is everything for this week's podcast. Ashton, can you talk us through your sponsor again, please?
Of course I can. The sponsor of this week's podcast is the African prince I'm related to, who keeps twitching, and the only way I can help solve that is by giving him my money. It's, of course, TwitchCon.
It's a TwitchCon.
Love it.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for listening /watching, everybody. We love you. We'll see you very soon. Look after yourselves. Bye.